evening and welcome to Hot News. We are live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. We're also live on YouTube at Pan-African Television, as well as 48 African countries. We are coming to you from our studios in Abilinkwe 48 Swanika Street here in Accra. You can send in your contributions and whatnot on our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at Pan-African Television. We'll make a time and read those out for you. You can as well leave your suggestions and whatnot on our WhatsApp line displayed on the screen. I also read those out for you. My name is Justice Appiah, and tonight on Hot News we are discussing the 2022 budget statement presented by the Finance Minister. You know that there has been a lot of controversies surrounding the budget statement presented by the Finance Minister and all of that. Yesterday he held a press conference saying that the e-levy is our greatest opportunity to broaden the tax net. The minority in Parliament, has submitted a budget. They would want it reviewed. One of those has e-levy. Quite apart from that, they are also looking at government capturing in the budget that of the Keta Anglon and Ketu South tidal waves and all of that. Also, they are talking about the review of the Accra energy deal, a Japan deal, and others. Yesterday, the Finance Minister at the press conference said that they have reviewed the Eka energy deal, they have reviewed the Japan deal, the Keta tidal waves, they've also included it in the budget, but that of the e-levy is the greatest opportunity of the country to broaden the tax net. He talked about the fact that that was going to be used in creating jobs for the youth, building infrastructure such as roads and all of that. But today in Parliament, both minority and majority were in Parliament, and arguments have started on that. You know that the Finance Minister has written to the Speaker of Parliament on the modification of the 2022 budget, and so they are trying to build a consensus. But on the floor of Parliament today, the Member of Parliament for Noktong, Honorable Samuel Okujeto-Ablakwa, has raised a very important issue, that they should look at the fundamental issues surrounding the budget, the approval and rejection of the budget by both minority and majority members of Parliament, before they proceed with any other thing. Let's listen to the Member of Parliament for Noktong constituency. We'll be right back.
I'm wondering, I hope the Honorable Deputy Majority Leader is listening. I'm wondering if, Mr. Speaker, if it will not be in the interest of this House for us to defer approval of this business statement. Because, Mr. Speaker, if you look at item number 3 on page II, Committee reports on estimates of MD institutions and related motions. This Business Committee report proceeds on the basis that all is well in this House about the 2022 budget. You know that all is not well. We are contending that the budget estimates, the budget policy and economic statement was rejected by this House. You are also contending that you have rescinded that decision. We filed a motion to rescind your decision, which we contend is still hanging. A vote has not been taken. But this business statement wants us to proceed to the next level, to deal with estimates, and then work towards appropriation, as if all is well. All is not well, you know that. So we should stop the pretense and defer this business statement and deal with the fundamental issue, which is what is the state of the 2022 budget? What is the state really? What is the position of this House, both sides of this House? Now, there is even a new twist which further muddies the waters. Modifications, which have been sent to the Speaker. Modifications to what? An approved budget or a rejected budget? Is it a new budget? Have we reviewed the budget?
And in this house.
I mean, what are the implications? So we are in very muddy waters. It's murky. It's nyama basa. You know, we cannot be pretending all is well, and so we are proceeding to be working on some estimates. Estimates on which one? Rejected budget, approved budget, review budget.
And then move to that.
I mean,
supplemental to that.
King James version, new. You know, I mean, it's just bizarre, Mr. Speaker. Defer work.
In this house.
We know that some committee was set up, 10 from that side, 10 from this side, to negotiate and see how we can find the best path forward. So let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's see how that mediation committee works. So this business statement, Mr. Speaker, with due respect, if we can defer it, it should be put aside and let us as a house agree on exactly where we are on the 2022 budget. Then we know when we are going to be working on estimates. But this one,
the minority leader, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, has also questioned and objected to why the finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, did not, or any of his deputies couldn't go to Parliament today to, of course, lay the letter of modification before the House. Let's listen to him. We'll be right back.
Before you direct that copies are made available to members, the table for the record must read the head notes. What is being laid for the record? What is being laid? We need it. Then copies made available to us. Then probably the leaders can make comments to it. What is being laid? We need to know. You have only indicated where it is from. We need to know what is being laid. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Notifications of the government's 2022 budget statement and economic policy. Modifications of the government's 2022 budget statement and economic policy.
Very well. Kindly make copies available to the leaders. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, ordinarily, by our known practice and procedures, I have seen communication to the Speaker. You directed the clerk to so lay it. But under normal circumstances, Mr. Speaker, we expected the finance minister or a minister of state or any of the deputies to be doing this. What has changed? That the clerk must lay it. Is it because it's official communication to you as Speaker? Because what is appropriate is for the Minister of Finance to lay it. Then we know he is the sponsor of the modifications. For this has been our practice with the Speaker. So when you say a clerk, is it that the Finance Minister is not available, or none of his deputies is available, or they don't want to own these modifications and concessions?
Was the minority leader, Honorable Haruna Idrisu. However, the deputy majority leader, Honorable Afenyo Markins, of course, responded to that and said they are in the vehicle of consensus building, and that if it would take the finance minister to come and lay, that in Parliament for discussion, they will do. Let's go and listen to him. We'll be right back.
The letter was addressed to you. And Mr. Speaker, appropriately, you have laid it. They signed it. It's still their property. It's still a document that emanated from them. Mr. Speaker, that notwithstanding, if it is their pleasure, that notwithstanding the communication to your office, they must still lay it. Mr. Speaker, it wouldn't spoil anything. Mr. Speaker, do it. She should just do it. Mr. Speaker, it wouldn't spoil anything. We are in a vehicle called consensus. Mr. Speaker, we are in a vehicle called consensus. So So, Mr. Speaker, if it means he has to lay, if it means it has to be laid, it will be done.
The Deputy Majority Leader in Parliament, of course, Honorable Afenyo Markins. If you're watching us on Facebook, you can share the Facebook Live for other people to also watch tonight's edition of the program. We are streaming live, on all other platforms, including YouTube. But if you're watching us on Facebook, kindly share the Facebook Live for other people to also watch tonight's edition of the program. Let me say a very good evening to all persons watching us on the 48 African countries where Pan-African television is watched. Once again, my name is Justice Appiah. Tonight on Hot News, I'm joined in the studio by Adele Umar Ibrahim, a member of the National Democratic Congress communications team. Adele, good evening. Long time. I started this platform with you.
I know.
Yes.
I know, Justice. I know. I heard you telling Awol too that long time. It's also been a while since he's been here, but we're back. We're back, Justice.
Also in the studio is Awal Mohammed, Head of Public Relations. Good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
He's also a member of the New Patriotic Party communications team. How's your party doing?
Yeah, the party is doing very well. We're gearing up for our conference that will be held in Kumasi on the 18th, 19th, 17th, 18th, 19th in Kumasi. After that, we'll start with our polling station elections in January. February, subsequently, we'll do our constituency, then we'll do the regional and the national elections. So the party is doing very well.
I see. I'm told there are factions in your party, Alan and Baumia. Which other factions are you part of?
For now, there are no factions in the party. What I know is that
some of these things
so when you see people competing, contesting elections, does that mean there are factions? No.
I see.
There are people competing for positions. Yes, Dr. Baumia will contest as the flag bearer of the party, and I know Alan Chiramantin too is contesting. And he's not the only person contesting. Dr. Afriya Koto, the great minister, also indicated that he will also contest, and Jogate too. So there are 4 people. So if you're talking about factions, there are no factions, but there is no doubt that my allegiance and everything is with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, because I feel that this is the time for him to take over. He's the most experienced person within the candidates that are contesting, and if I'm not mistaken, even in Africa here, there is no single person who has learned on the job than him, because he started from 2008 as a running mate, 2012 as a running mate, 2016 as a running mate. For over 10 years he has been close to the presidency. Then he became vice president, and he's going for 8 years as vice president.
I see.
8 years as in opposition, who was leading the charge, doing a lot of the talking, setting the pace, especially in 2016 when Dr. Tonedo had to even come and say that in 2016 NDC did not have a single person that can match Dr. Baumia, and that was the reason you lost the election. So I believe that he has paid his dues, and he has learned on the job, and he's leading the charge for the digitalization
Alan
of the
economy. Alan is more experienced, isn't he?
Alan is also an equally good material, but for now, I believe Dr. Baumia is the best amongst the 4 people contesting. I'm sure maybe later some people also join.
Very well. Very well. Viewers, you're still watching Hot News Friday on Pan-African Television with me, Justice Appiah. If you're watching us on Facebook, please share the Facebook Live. If you're watching us on Facebook, we're live over there. Please share the Facebook Live for other people to also watch tonight's edition of the program. I'll start with you, Adele, on the issue of 2022 budget statement presented by the finance minister. You know the issues surrounding the budget statement and all of that. Of course, the finance minister has written to the speaker on modification of the 2022 budget. The minority side of has actually tabled out some components of a budget where they would want the finance minister to deal with. Anything short of that, they'll reject it and all of that. The finance minister yesterday said, yes, we have met you halfway. That of the 1.75% is the only greatest opportunity to broaden the tax net. Today in Parliament, the minority side still insists that the e-levy be scrapped. Why?
Okay. Justice, first off, before I move into the topic, let me take this opportunity to say hello to, our viewers.
Right.
I have received a couple of messages on Facebook and in my personal, WhatsApp number, people telling me about the fact that they had missed, me on this show. And I just want to say that I was away for a short while, but I'm back.
Very well.
And to just say hello to my nephew Bilal. He's watching live currently. Okay. Bilal, I hope you're doing okay. So, Justice, look, I've said on countless occasions on this platform that the politics we practice is actually very, very, very easy to understand if you break it down a little bit.
Okay.
Which is to say that whether we like it or not, the Republic of Ghana belongs to all of us. Awan, myself, you, Kenu Farata's children, His Excellency John Dramani Maham's children, everybody else. The King Kisele's son, the Wajisele's son, the one selling the pure water, the one selling the charcoal. This country belongs to all of us. Unfortunately, and that is where the problem is. Unfortunately, all of us cannot go and sit at the presidency to govern. So what do we say? We say, okay, you know what? We're looking for somebody who can manage the assets of the nation for the benefits of all of us. For all of us. In exchange, when you go and we give you the seat, don't pay electricity, don't pay water bill, we'll pay for your airlines, we'll pay for blah blah blah. We would intend again give you a little money from our pockets, some form of revenue. Anytime I buy petrol, a little bit of revenue. When I buy kerosene, a little bit of revenue. When I buy food, a little bit. We would still give you a little bit from our pocket. Take that, which we call taxes. Take that. Take the resources we have in the country, from gold, from oil, from what? Mention all of them.
Okay.
Coal, mention all of them. Take that in addition. Do not give us money. Don't come around sharing money to us. What do we want? Give us good schools. Give us a hospital.
Okay.
Give us, good roads. Give us electricity, constant electricity. Give us those basic things. And when you employ us to work for you, we would still come and work for you, and then you give us a little portion of that money. This is basically it. Nothing else. So somebody was on the seat. You said and claimed he's incompetent. He can't manage the state. Mention all the things that the MPP said about the NDC. When we were leaving power, we left them with 120 billion.
Okay.
In terms of debt. In terms of debt.
Okay.
Today, according to Ken Oforiatta, we are running into 341 billion. Accumulatively, between 2017 up until now, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo alone has borrowed close to more than 80%, about 180% more what we had left. 220 billion. Take out 120, you have what? 100 billion. That is how much money you have borrowed. The revenue you have received, 241 billion plus from 2017 up until now. We're talking in approximation about 418 billion plus accrued to His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the borrowing and the bits and pieces when you put together, how much do we have? But Kotoka International Airport, you can talk about it. Kotoka Market, you can talk about it. KJT Market, you can talk about it. So many investments that we did and left. Now, after you have plunged the country into all this mess, you still come back again, present a budget for us to approve for 2020, in which we still see a mess you're creating. The people of Ghana have given you close to about 241 billion. We haven't seen what you've done with that. The people of Ghana have sat down and you have borrowed close to about 220 billion extra. We don't know what you have done with that. You come back and say the average Ghanaian should be taxed an extra 1.75 on the e-levy. The minority says we would not take this today, we won't take it tomorrow. Justice, let me give you an example of what this...
There should be some good reasons why minority is rejecting that.
Justice, we're giving reasons.
Right.
And we're still giving reasons. And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. If I receive 1,000 Ghana cedis right now,
right,
and I choose to send a part of that 1,000 Ghana cedis to Muhammad Awal.
Okay.
Say I decide to send Awal 300 Ghana cedis. No, 500 Ghana cedis. I'll be charged 1.75 on that 500 Ghana cedis. If Awal receives that 500 Ghana cedis and decides to push to you, Justice, 400 Ghana cedis, he will be taxed 1.75 on the 400 Ghana cedis. If you take the 400 Ghana cedis Awal has sent to you, and you decide to send it to any of your producers, 200 Ghana cedis, you will be taxed. You will be again taxed another 1.75 Ghana cedis. By the time that 1,000 will go and come back, the amount of money that is being derived from that 1,000 is not 1.75. We're saying this is in multiplications. You cannot do that. And again, we keep saying we want to bring the informal sector, we want to bring them into the banking sector, we want everybody to get involved. Justice, it is not easy. And we have proposed and given you alternatives. We told you, look, go to the auditor's report. The kind of money the government is wasting on corruption is enough to plug these loopholes. We can do that. You understand what I'm saying? Apart from that, we're saying that, for example, road levy, the road tolls, cancelled. Even though today we're still talking about the fact that it was unacceptable because you're not supposed to go that way. The budget has not been approved. Bills are currently being placed before Parliament for us to discuss appropriations and figures attached to it. It has been cancelled. Who pays for that money that is being lost right now as you claim that you need money? Who pays for it? So the minority is bent on the fact that, yes, you've spoken about Accra, yes, you've spoken about Keta, even Keta Sea Defense. What are we talking about, Justice? Where the finance minister is telling us that he's going to spend 10 million Ghana cedis to continue visibility, of which he says that excesses might be needed to extend to maybe between the Volta region all the way to Pampram, about 500 kilometers of the seaside. 10 million Ghana cedis for visibility. Nothing has been placed in there for the main project. 10 million for visibility. So we're going to spend money. We're going to still carry money. Okay.
Not too small.
To give. It's not about. I'm talking about the fact that feasibility have already been done. Projects have already started on the project. People have already started working on it. They're supposed to continue work on it. As much as I'm concerned, work is supposed to continue.
It has been done.
The first phase has been done.
The second phase to be continued.
Wait, I'm coming. And wait, the second phase, there's no feasibility done on the second phase.
There was nothing like that.
There's no. I would verify when I go.
Some parts around Anyanui in the Anglo area.
Yes.
I mean, has been done. You know, some parts
completed.
I witnessed
completed.
But except that some parts
has not been done.
Has not.
So I'm so exactly. So what I'm saying is that I'm saying the finance minister is saying that he's putting together 10 million Ghana cedis to do visibility. We're talking about 100 billion to do visibility. Nothing has been stated. Nothing has been attached to it. In fact, the government has not told us how much money they're going to put into the main project. What we've been told is that they're putting 10 million Ghana cedis into visibility. And we still continue to talk about the fact that they are being wasteful. They're wasting resources. They have had enough money than any other government has ever had. We do not expect them to continue on the tangent that they are going currently as we speak. On the e-levy, we say it's a no-no.
Right, thank you so much, Adele, for your submission. But briefly, you touch on this before I come to Adele.
Yes.
You have talked about some 5 components. 3 have been dealt with. Government has met the minority halfway. Is that not enough?
No.
That's not enough. Okay, I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Right.
My brother.
Yes, these are the issues. E-levy. People have the view that the ordinary Ghanaian is already suffering. And we are burdening them with, taxes, levies, that will worsen, their plight and all of that. Government should be a listening one. Don't you think so?
Thank you so much. Good evening to our cherished viewers, and thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been a while that So I think tax is never attractive anywhere in the world. There is no way in the world that people will embrace any tax measure that the government will roll out. So tax is never accepted wholeheartedly anywhere in the world, even if you think they will put it to good use. That's why even if you go to Europe, people still evade taxes. You understand? So on the, just a quick clarification on the courtesy defense, because you were there. It is not certain when you hear an NDC person talk about courtesy defense. If they had completed the 8 kilometer that was left when you went there, if they had completed the one Kufuor source for fund for it to be completed, which was completed in 2014, if the NDC had completed just the 8 kilometers, that disaster wouldn't even strike. That disaster, that strike, and you went there. If they had even completed that 8 kilometer, it will not do. You see, what we should understand is that there is a professor from University of Ghana who said that even the sea defense is not the lasting solution. He is into these things. He's a professor in it. The 10 million Ghana cedi is not for only Keta sea defense. It is the entire stretch of our coastal lines. 540 kilometers from Volta region through to Western region. So it is not as if it is the 8 kilometers where the problem occurred that the money is there to do. Again, you have lived in Accra all your life. I'm surprised. Some of us from Kumasi, if we talk about this, maybe we lack understanding. You know that you cannot just go and start doing the sea defense without feasibility studies. These are things that are done, and it is costly. When you go and see how it is done, when you go and see the sea defense, you may think that it's even easy to construct. That 8 kilometers alone, when they did the valuation, it's around 100 million. You remember when they even did the valuation of the one in Keta? So when you talk about they have not written anything attached to it that the cost of the project, you don't even know what you're talking about, because even after this there will be supplementary budget to Parliament, and there will be media budget and so on. So definitely during the media, if there is the need for them to appropriate or push some monies there, they will do that.
Oh, but are you suggesting that because the NDC did not, complete the 8 kilometer sea defense project at Keta, it was right for the New Patriotic Party government to exclude the disaster from the budget, the 2022 budget?
So who can envisage a disaster? You can't envisage it. You don't even know. This is a disaster.
It happened.
So you see,
at what point
we are also not really saying that we're not doing anything on the sea defense. When you go to Axim, we just completed the sea defense there in 2020. We started in 2017 and completed it in 2020. There is one ongoing in Pram Pram as I speak, which is about 16 kilometers. It's also ongoing. You do all these things. When it strikes, then you look at how best you'll be able to readjust and do it, because this is disaster. This is not man-made, even though there are some aspects of man-made over there because sun waning and so on. But development of a country is not it's not an event, it's a process. So you can't only say that let's just go and concentrate there alone. That's why we said we're doing 540 kilometer feasibility studies, so that they will know where they need it urgently, so that we'll get money to go and do that place, so that disaster will not strike again.
But the people of Anglop, the people of Keta, the people of K2 South,
you do all these interjections, and I will
I'll give you a time to deal with your issues.
Yes,
I mean, I promise that. But let's straighten some parts.
Yes,
I mean a bit. I'm saying that the disaster strike
Yes.
Even before the finance minister read the budget in Parliament. True or false?
True.
And the minority is saying that it was an urgent.
So now I'll not even allow you. Better late than never. Something has been done. That's all. You see, when you pass the policy statement, the economic statement,
right,
you do the first reading. There will be estimate and appropriation and so on. At the estimate, some things are added, some are removed, and so on. That is what has been done today. So it is not as if it is conclusive when you come and read the budget. That's all. There are adjustments that can be done, and it's allowed because there will be estimate. That's why it is 3 stages. When the approval is 3 stages. First stage is the entire framework. The second stage is the estimate and appropriation and so on. Then the last stage, which will be the approval, so that it will be approved. So if you check the e-levy, I am even glad the way he started, where he even started, that our debt are unsustainable, or our debt is unsustainable, because we started from 122 and now we are 341, and he feels that all the 341, all the 200 and something is a loan that this government has constructed. This is a palpable lie, or he's exhibiting stupendous ignorance about it, because the 122, even if it is 10% interest on the 122 alone for the past 5 years, 10% interest should be around 70 billion. 10% every if it is even 122, 10% annually is around 12 billion. So it is not as if that debt 122 is static. There are no interest on it and so on. I admit there are borrowings, but COVID also increased the rate of borrowing.
How much did you borrow during the COVID time?
I can't recall, but I know that during the COVID time we borrowed to do a lot of things that we didn't plan. And this is a statement of fact. It's not only Ghana. So our debt is unsustainable.
And people.
Our debt is unsustainable. Yes, upon all the donations, for like 1 year, teachers were not going to school, but we were paying them. A lot of taxes were not coming, but the government was still running. It is not as if everything was ongoing and we had donations. Workers were not going to work, but they were paid. Productivity came down, but still they were paid. There was no single man that government did not even pay his the remunerations for workers. So yes, that's true. So it moved it. So now we're saying that on one breath we're saying that our debt is unsustainable. On another breath we're saying that we cannot tax the people. Which country in the world developed without taxes? You can tell.
Allow me to ask you a few questions here. You recall that prior to the 2016 elections,
yes,
your party in opposition told Ghanaians that they were going to change the Ghanaian economy from taxation to production.
Yes.
The MPP government should be the last government that any Ghanaian would have expected that will be taxing the good people of Ghana. True or false?
Yes, you will use the taxes to move the country from taxation to production, because if we tax and take the e-levy, we will want to create 11 million jobs. We will want to do the youth start. With the youth start, we give 1 billion to the youth. That 1 billion to the youth, they are going to enter into entrepreneurship, and they will move into production. And that time, government will slow down on taxation. It is not as if we came and said that we will not tax. We will not tax at all. We said we will move it, but it's a gradual movement. Again, when you say our debt is unsustainable, then you check our debt to our tax to GDP ratio, which is 12%, below even the African average.
The issue of borrowing, you also promised again that an MPP government would do Ghana beyond 8.
If you allow me to finish my submission,
okay, go ahead.
To at least give the viewer a fair idea of what I'm saying. But if I'm talking and you're asking me all these questions, moving me back, I will not be able to stay focused.
You go ahead.
So if you check our tax to GDP ratio, the contribution of our taxes to the GDP is way below any African country. We are 12.2%. When other African countries are doing 16, in Europe is 40% to the GDP. Now we hear all the economics, almost everyone saying let's expand the tax net so that everyone is included. Now the tax net has been expanded and you get a lot of people, especially the NDC people, who said that our debt are unsustainable. Let's have money for Keta Sea defense. Why didn't you add money for Keta Sea defense? They are saying that they are also against the taxes. So we should go and borrow because Mahama had a penchant of going to borrow to build everything, almost anything in this country. When he became president, almost everything that he did was with loans. So definitely we shouldn't expand. We should go and borrow so that you can go ahead and tell us that we have borrowed so much that our debt is unsustainable. What we want to at least slow down the borrowing. So the e-levy will accrue 6.9 billion a year.
What happened to other innovative ways of widening the tax?
This is innovative. Tell me in an innovative way. Well, tell us if there is any innovative way done. This e-levy. I
can only tell you what is wrong with the e-levy as being.
No, but you see, and I'm telling you that this is an innovative way. So if you have anything that is different, that every Ghanaian will get to pay this tax. Tell me.
There are a lot of people in this country doing direct businesses who could have paid tax. You know, I used to be with Ghana Revenue Authority.
Fantastic. I love this.
Exactly. Who have not been captured under the tax net. So they are always evading taxes.
That is why we have to thank. That's why we have to thank Dr. Bawumia for being vice president of this country. Okay. Now, Dr. Bawumia is saying that every person, every single Ghanaian with Ghana card, your Ghana card number will be used as a tax identification.
Right.
So all these people will be identified easily with a TIN number. So we have the TIN number. So all these things will happen. It is not as if we're quiet and want to do only this. Every Ghanaian will be identified as a taxpayer. The TIN number will do the magic for you to be able to at least focus and get those who do direct business without paying taxes, because the Ghana card number will be his TIN number. Okay. He says we should go to Auditor General's report. Auditor General's report they've been given all this report over the years. What did your government do in terms of recouping these monies? You didn't do anything. They will tell you go to Auditor General's report, but what we're doing is that we're digitalizing, and this will phase out all these corrupt practices. Because now if you go to DVLE, Auditor General report cannot even bring any report that some people have embezzled money, because everything is online. If you go to ECG, it is moved online. Even our land administration is going to be moved online. So when you do this, you put all the checks and balances with the digital. It will be difficult for you to even get the human face for people to even be corrupt. So that one will be put aside, and Auditor General's report, as time goes on, will not even bring any corruption report again. They will bring reports, but it will minimize because of the digitalization that we're doing. The e-levy is going to help the people of this country, especially the youth, because if you check those in public service today, myself inclusive, when we were less than 1 million, we're 30.8 million Ghanaians. Again, every year, when you check the statistics of the number of people who come out of our universities from every year. Now the finance for the presentation of this budget said that the youth should enter into entrepreneurship. He was vilified, insulted in this country. Then after the presentation of I am going to give every Ghanaian youth who will want to enter into entrepreneurship will get 1 billion every year to be able to support you without collateral, so that you're able to expand. you are able to employ your own. So the good thing about it is that the numbers is still 1.75. I am upbeat that happen, which is very significant. If you check the press conference by the he said bank charges transfer money from I use GCB from the 422 app to your Momo account, it will not be taxed. The merchants, the mobile money merchants, they were complaining that what they get is not even enough. They will also not be charged for it, and when you do the visa transfer to, it will not be charged. Those remittances, because a lot of people had issues with when they get remittances from abroad, that when they go to withdraw, they will get it. Now Haruna Idrisu has shown the way. He says it's not a button, because Ghanaians need to be taxed so that the government will be able to do all the things that you want the government to do. But he believed that it should be 1% and the cap should be 300.
But your focus shouldn't be the poor, because if you look at persons who subscribe to mobile money are the poor. Majority.
No, that's a lie.
According
the
to
statistics is telling us that it is only 40% who do under 100 cities. We did all these things before we came.
What's your definition of the?
I will only have to go with the UN definition,
which says,
they said if you cannot live above $1 a day, you're poor. But we're saying that if you send less than 100 up to 100 cities, okay, you will not pay on it, and you will not pay a dime. So if you check, that is why they are exempt. 40% of the people who do this do around 100 cities down. So in a month they do 3,000.
So in other words, is a new patriotic party government saying that?
Check the statistics. Those who did the transaction on mobile last year was around 500 billion. Those who went to the bank was around 78 million.
Oh, I want to ask you.
So you want to tell me that it's the poor people who went and did the transaction?
Wait a minute. I'm saying that if I transfer 500 cedis to my mother right now,
she will not receive. She will not.
Wait a minute.
Everything without paying anything.
Relax. If I send 500 cedis to my mother right now,
yes,
and my mother decides to send 200 cedis to my little sister in school,
yes,
and she's going to be charged 1.75%, you mean that my mother has money?
So your mother will not tell you that instead of sending me 500, send 200 to my sister. Your sister send 300 to me.
So that when I send 200 to my mother, so that when I send 200 to my sister, I'm deducted 1.75%. When I send mother, I'm deducted 1.75%. Is that also?
Listen, if you send 500 to her, 1.75 on 500. If you send 300 to her, 1.75 on 300. When you send to your sister, when you do the two transactions, when you sit here and do the two transactions, you pay on 500. But if she's to do it, it will be paid higher.
I'm not getting your argument.
I'm saying that in order for you not to tell her, you're saying that she doesn't have it. So you have sent 500 to her.
Yes.
You know that you sent something to your
benevolence. You want to send something to my.
What's wrong with that?
And the argument of
others have even money spent. So I'm even surprised that everyone will want to say that his mother is poor.
No, you see,
I don't understand why everyone will want to say that his mother is poor.
The argument you are making is that by virtue of the fact that I sent my mother 500 cedis and she has decided to send 200 cedis to my sister, my mother is rich. My mother is not rich. According to Esther, anybody who is able to send more than 100 cedis to somebody in this country, the person is rich.
This is a day, more than 100 cedis a day. 3,000 cedis, more than 3,000 cedis a month. If you are able to send more than 3,000 cedis to people a month, you cannot be classified as poor.
I see.
If you are able to send more than 3,000 cedis a month, you cannot be classified as poor. That's why I said the UN benchmark is that if you cannot live above 6 cedis a day, that's the UN benchmark. 6 cedis a day, you are not poor. e-levy is a game changer. The e-levy, around 2 billion from the e-levy will be able to defray the 341 billion that we're talking about as debt. It is in it that we will use a fraction of the e-levy debt that we were talking about when you started your submission. You started with the debt. Kufuor left 9.4 billion. You move it to 122. So if we have a tax measure that will be able to pay
9.4 billion, there was an interest on it, just like you said.
Yes, 9.4, 10% of 9.4 for 8 years. How much will that be?
Okay.
How much will that be? 10% of 9.4. It is 900.
But you said no matter how insignificant the interest will be,
yes.
Still
that's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that. Even
whoever inherited the debt,
if even everything, the accumulation of the Kufuor gets to 22 billion,
okay,
with the interest and everything, you added 100 billion.
How much?
So what we're saying is that we want to move from the borrowing,
okay,
to making sure that at least we finance our projects here. That's the most important thing. He should tell me a single project that they were able to finance without even the loan.
I see.
And we want to at least do all these things, fix our critical infrastructure with the e-levy.
You are saying that you would want to fix our infrastructure, of which roads are part.
Yes.
What sense does it make for you to scrap road tolls and tax the poor? You know, no money.
The road toll was given us only 78 million.
Okay.
So what is the significance of the 78 billion on fixing a road? It was given us 78 million every year.
It could still do something.
So we are using 1 billion from the e-levy to do the work that the 78 million cannot do. That's why every day you get the contractors coming to tell you that they have not been paid because this one doesn't even give anything.
Right.
It's insignificant.
Thank you so much. I'll come back to you. Viewers, you're still watching Hot News with me, Justice Appiah. You want to respond to some of the
Justice,
things?
a lot of
you have 5 minutes.
I have 5 minutes, okay. A lot of things. Justice, look, I hear my brother talk about the fact that tax is unattractive everywhere. I agree. No two ways about it. Yeah, certainly, I agree. But Justice, when you're taxing, there must be a use for the money. And you've been in government for 5 years, and the people of Ghana are saying things are hard, we are not seeing the change. It's the communication. This is the communication, like it or not. He is standing in parliament representing the people of Ghana. The majority is supposed to be seated in parliament representing the people of Ghana. The people of Ghana are saying that, look, we have given you 480 billion plus. We are not seeing it. Where is it? He talks about His Excellency John Dramani Mahama borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. Do you know what the NDC did? I'll tell you something. Let me give you one example. Kutuka International Airport, Terminal 3. We borrowed to build it. It's paying its cost. It's paying back. Oh, my brother. We're speaking, I was here. Subhanallah. You asked me to give an example. I'm giving you an example. So I'm giving you an example.
Okay.
Smart borrowing. Yeah. Subhanallah.
I don't make sure that you don't interject when he's making his stuff.
No. But I was here when he was doing his
You have asked him to stop.
Yes, certainly. No, it's fine. Justice, you know me. I would never come into it. Yes, that's why I'm writing it.
Go ahead.
You asked for an example. I've given you one example. Don't be agitated. Kotoka International Airport. We built it. You came, you saw it. You went there, you went to open it.
We completed it.
My brother, subhanallah.
Go ahead, Adele.
It's paying back the funds. If we built a senior secondary school, if we built a university, tell me one thing. Look, one thing. Did you build it? It's paying. This is wisdom. You told us in opposition that you had all the wisdom, that you were not lacking ideas, but certainly from what it looks, you are lacking ideas. 480 plus, nothing to show. You've messed up our senior secondary school, totally messed up.
Are you sure?
It's that. Justice, when you open your lines, let people speak to it. You say it is free. Ask. I have boys who are working under me currently, who, when they are going to school, we do spend money before they get to school.
Right.
The constant money you have to send to get them a place to rest. goes on to talk about the fact that, how do you call it, e-levy. You see, do you know what is funny? All of a sudden, e-levy is the solution to Ghana's problem. You have mismanaged the country. You have mismanaged what has been given to you. You don't have anywhere to go. In fact, Opon Nkrumah sat on City and mentioned that if you don't do e-levy, it is tantamount to going to IMF. You have reduced the whole country to e-levy. Without it, Nanado doesn't have any idea. Keno Fayata doesn't have any idea. Awal Muhammad, before this, didn't have any idea. Until today. Okay, put that one aside. He comes to talk about the fact that, how do you call it, 1 billion. He says they are going to give 1 billion, the youth start. I don't know if it's you. You start 1 billion to every youth. Is that what you're saying? Or 1 billion a year for all those people who are going to come? Or is it 1 billion for every youth? It is not 1 billion for every youth. It is 1 billion allocated every year for the number of people. So if you have 100,000 people who are going to start their own business under you start, we are giving them a 1 billion shared amongst those number of people. Or perhaps you will tell us the number of people that on a daily basis or on a yearly basis you intend to give that money to. We don't have, it hasn't been broken down. Look, Justice, I'll tell you something. The people are frustrated. Ghanaians are tired. Our talks about the fact that, and then we 9 billion, and the NDC came to, and they did this, and today, and we are here, and we have to pay. No problem. What you have is 220 billion. That is how much you are borrowed, according to Ken Oforiatta. How much of that 220 billion is interest? How much have you really borrowed? Tell us. Let us know. Okay, what about the taxes? You have received taxes. You have received revenue in this country more than any other government has ever gotten. 241 billion between 2017 till now. You have nothing to show. And the people are saying, look, we're tired. We're struggling. It is difficult. Look at these truck drivers. What are they saying? They say, oh, Ghana doesn't have the money. We don't control fuel prices. We don't do. Ghana is a net exporter of oil. What it means is that, Justice, anytime petrol prices go up in the world, Ghana makes a lot of money. Do you know why? Because we export and we make a lot of money.
But we have just about 12% or 10%.
That's what is, no, I'm telling you, Justice. What is that? Oh, subhanallah. What is, between 2017 and now, the 12%, how much has accrued? Ask me. $2 billion. You were running it to China, asking for 1 billion, begging for 1 billion. We were running to China, begging for 1 billion. We've got to 2 billion. Out of that 2 billion, Kerry Forrest says he has invested 500 in the oil, in the oil sector. Where's the rest of the money?
Free SHS is being funded from the oil money. And
I'm saying that he says that he has spent 500 on basically cushioning Ghanaians on the oil. Where's the rest of the 1.5? 1.5 went to free SHS. $1.5 billion went to free SHS. Look, let's stop pretending as though everybody else that is watching us doesn't have something in here, and people cannot put 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. Bottom line is this: you said the other one was not good enough. Justice, I have a taxi. I give it to you. I say work with it. You are working with a taxi. You're bringing me 100 Ghana. Awal comes and says that, Adam, subhanallah, 100 Ghana, don't worry. I will give you 200 Ghana. In fact, you don't even have to buy me petrol. I will fill in the petrol, go and bring you 200 Ghana. Awal comes and he's virtually making 50 Ghana cedis. And you say everybody should be quiet. What is that? What's that? So, okay, so all the noise, give it to us, give it to us, give it to us, we are the managers, give it to us, we have given it to you. You're quoting us, you're quoting John Mahama, 2016, you're talking about 2016 today, 2021, after it has been given to you to manage. Let's be serious.
Right, Awal, take us on.
You see, it is interesting that when you think that building alone is how to manage a country, that is the reason we are where we are today.
Right.
In 2016, that was the reason why every Ghanaian was saying that jobs to the extent that we have to even term our manifesto to change an agenda for jobs. When former President Mahama will say that, well, I started some buildings, so maybe next year I'll give you jobs. Even when he even said that he's not a magician to give them jobs. when you narrow governance to only building, you don't know what you're talking about. All the countries that have developed their human resource. All the countries, talk of China, they developed the human resource of the country. They did industrialization. They did not build, they just didn't start and say that, let me build this, let me build that, let me borrow and build it. Free senior high school is the best thing to ever happen to this country. And he sits here and said that we don't have anything to show. When you are even pointing to him that the oil money that he's talking about is used to support the free senior high school, and even not that alone. When you check the APRM, that law, it tells us the areas that we spend these monies to: health, education, and some basic infrastructure. You can go and check PIAC. They will tell you how the money has been spent. So because we don't talk about it, we don't make noise, because when you go and build one thing, you make all the noise. The moment they build one thing, they make all the noise. To the extent that you are telling me that Kotoka International Airport, you built Kotoka International Airport, Terminal 3, yes, true. But who borrowed it? Is it direct central government that did the borrowing? It is not. It is not direct central government. So, you see, free senior high school, NACO, these are things, when you go to, there is no single regional capital in this country that has not been completely asphalted.
How much did you spend?
Even in Accra.
How much did you
There's nowhere in Accra today that if you'll be moving now. Today, I was just around Laboni. They closed the road. They are doing asphalting. There's no single regional capital in this country that is not being asphalted. This thing, we started 3 years ago, and we're asphalting every single regional capital. Go to Takoradi. First interchange is happening there. And you're telling us that we have nothing to show?
First interchange.
The first interchange in Takoradi is there. If you go to Tamale, there is an interchange there. So you see, when you don't lift the debate and you think that it's about building, going to borrow and build without building your your human resource, you don't know how to govern. Again, when you check the industrialization agenda, the one district, one factory, the amounts of money that has been given to the factories to expand, it tells you how industrialized we want to industrialize this country. So yes, it's true. They will make all the noise, tell us that they went and borrowed and built all these things. Go and check. We are building 11. We have even completed building 11 senior high schools. We have completed these schools. We don't make noise about these things because we feel that until we're able to at least satisfy the Ghanaian, who will not make noise about building school. It is the NDC who will tell you that we're building 200 schools and build 40 schools and tell you that we have done something that has never happened in this
Upon
country.
all you've done, the ordinary Ghanaian is complaining about economic
There is no way the Ghanaian will not complain of economic hardship. There is no way.
Okay.
There is no way that you not complain, especially when you are in a stage where you are in COVID, which the economies across the country are suffering, across the world. It's not peculiar to Ghana.
COVID.
For the first time in the history of UK, they are increasing electricity bills. A lot of places even went without electricity for the past 3 days. In the UK, these are almost perfect societies because of COVID. So definitely we know there are some hardships, but this government is better, far better than the Mahama administration. Because there was endemic corruption under Mahama. To the extent that today,
Can you imagine?
the venture capital people who admitted that indeed these are appointees of Mahama, who admitted that indeed they stole.
Are you saying there's no corruption under your watch?
Point them out. These are perceptions. I am telling you things that has gone to court and people are suffering. People have been convicted.
You checked the corruption perception index under Mahama. And
So I said perception. Perception. But I have discussed this over and over here with you. that in 2017 and 2018, all the corruption perception index, when you check the basket, these are the Senate scandal, the venture capital, and the cocoa board, and so on. They were in the basket of the corruption perception index in 2018 and 19. So do you blame Akufo-Addo for something that happened under you, but the news broke under Akufo-Addo's regime? And when you hear all these things, it tells you that the government is fighting corruption.
Well, are you saying that this government is not corrupt? Did you hear what Martin Amido said before he resigned?
You see, we are, but these are things that he said.
Let's wrap up.
He said, no one has been convicted. He was given a job to do.
Right.
Has he been able to even send one person to court?
Very well.
Court, not even to secure.
So give me 2 minutes to wrap up properly. 2 minutes.
Has he been able to send someone, a member of this government, to court?
He said the president is a mother serpent of corruption.
But the president he's supposed to be an independent person, not to be reporting to the president. There's no word that says that he's supposed to report to the president. So if you choose to be going to the president and to be talking to the president, once you're supposed to go to court, you have failed your job.
Thank you so much, Awal. I'm so grateful.
I won't say it's building. I know building. I'm asking him. Okay, so you're going to develop the human resource without institutions.
Right. Thank you so much.
Free senior high school. Free senior high
school. My name is Justice Appiah. Goodbye. Oh, thank you. Adele, thank you.
Thank you very much, Justice. Thank you very much.